It is highly debatable who is considered the first black supermodel. Some people and publications will say Donyale Luna, and others will say Naomi Sims. This is mostly due to Luna making her mark in European publications and Sims making hers in American publications. It is said that more emphasis is placed on the American publications, but since art is subjective, it can go either way. What we do know is Naomi Sims was a force to be reckoned with during her reign as a top model, author, and businesswoman. She came from humble beginnings and was determined to make a name for herself. Although she was a model for 5 short years, she made sure to utilize her fame and resources to create her beauty empire. Most notably, her wig line made for black women. Her ultimate goal was to inspire black women to be beautiful and healthy, starting from the inside out. She did that and more. For that, her influence should not go unrecognized. Naomi Sims was born in Oxford, Mississippi, the youngest of 3 daughters to John and Elizabeth Sims. Her parents divorced shortly after she was born. Unfortunately, this led to Sims never knowing her father. The only thing her mom ever told her about her father is that he was an absolute bum. After the divorce, her mother moved Naomi and her sisters, Betty and Doris, to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in hopes for a better life. When Sims was approximately 10 years old, her mother had fallen ill. Sims was placed into foster care where she spent time in a group home. Eventually, she was placed with a black working class family. But Sims had trouble adjusting because she didn't feel as welcome or loved as the younger foster child who had a fairer complexion. She experienced more hurt knowing that her mom lived less than a mile away and continued to raise her older sisters. Nevertheless, she still maintained a close relationship with her sisters. She started her freshman year at Westinghouse High School, then became a target of bullying over her uncommon height of 5'10". Despite her traumatic experiences, she graduated in 1966 and accepted a scholarship to attend the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City. Sims moved to New York and lived with her sister Betty. Sims studied merchandising and textile design while also taking night classes at New York University. Attending college was great, but Sims needed money. Her family, friends, and counselor would encourage her to model, but she was hesitant because no one looked like her besides Dorothea Towles Church and Donyale Luna. But they somewhat got a pass because they were of lighter complexion. Regardless of the odds stacked against her, Sims remained resilient through the rejection she faced from the modeling agencies who told her she was too dark. So instead, she decided to directly approach the photographers herself. Gosta Peterson, a photographer for the New York Times, was amazed by Sims' beauty. He agreed to photograph her for the cover of its August 1967 fashion supplement, then called Fashions of the Times. Unfortunately, the agencies still were uninterested. That didn't stop Sims. Next, she approached Wilhelmina Cooper, a former model who had begun her own agency known as Wilhelmina Models. They worked out a contract where Sims would send out copies of the Times supplement to advertising agents, attaching Cooper's telephone number, and that Cooper's agency would get a commission if Naomi received any work. By 1968, Sims was earning $1,000 a week and had been hired for a national television campaign for AT&T wearing fashions by Bill Blass. In November 1968, Sims became the first black model on the cover of Ladies' Home Journal. She also appeared on the cover of the October 17, 1969 issue of Life magazine. This made her the first African American model on the cover of the magazine. Around the time Sims came onto the scene, it was towards the end of the civil rights movement. This was the perfect time for advertising execs to capitalize on the Black is Beautiful theme. From 1968 to 1973, Naomi Sims became one of the most successful Black models worldwide. Hollywood execs took interest in her becoming an actress. She was offered the role of Cleopatra Jones, but once she read the script, she turned it down due to the racial portrayal of Black people in the movie. The role ended up going to Tamara Dobson. In 1973, Naomi Sims married Michael Finley, an art dealer. They would have only one child named Bob and divorced in 1991. This same year, Sims retired from modeling. She was only 24 years old. She has stated that modeling was never her ultimate career goal. She found being an entrepreneur more appealing. During Sims' modeling career, she would have to do her own hair and makeup due to stylists' refusal or inexperience in working with dark-skinned women. Also, since wearing Afro-textured hair was not considered mainstream, Black models had relaxed hair or wore wigs that were of a Caucasian's texture. These wigs were also what were sold in stores and did not provide an authentic look for Black women. At that time, Black women consist of 40% of wig purchases. Sims saw a problem and had a vision to solve it. In 1974, she created her own line of wigs with textures mirroring straightened Black hair. She achieved this texture by experimenting with her own wigs, baking them in her oven in order to create the various textures of Black hair. She decided to partner with an import-export company called Metropa Company. Together they created a hair fiber that could hold its own curl and was neither too straight or frizzy. The fiber trademarked under the name Persevered and was utilized to create the Naomi Sims collection. The sales of her wigs earned $5 million within its first year. Her wigs were sold in more than 2,000 wig boutiques and department stores in the United States and Canada, as well as throughout the Caribbean and Africa. Sims didn't just stop at making wigs. In 1981, she expanded her beauty empire to include fragrance, cosmetics, and a skincare line. Many people do not know that Ms. Sims did attempt to create a cosmetic line earlier in her career. In 1970, Sims announced she would be starting a beauty company called Naomi Inc. and would specialize in cosmetics for Black customers. She was frustrated at the lack of wearable and affordable base products for deep skin tones. Sims wanted Black women to feel confident and glamorous. She is cited stating, "Black women have an inferiority complex concerning their physical appearance, and I want to give them confidence. Black women want the same genuine psychological boost out of the cosmetics that other women do. And one simply does not get that glorious feeling of glamour by adding burnt cork to the darkest shade of suntan powder available." There isn't any documented reason Naomi Inc. never hit the shelves during that time. It is speculated that it could be due to criticism from both white and Black customers. The June 26, 1970 issue of Women's Wear Daily mentions a quote from a white woman who thought it was unfair that Sims intended to create a makeup line that would cater to Black women. The quote reads, "Can the white woman wear your makeup? If not, why are you ignoring her?" Naomi replied, "If you're brave enough, go ahead and try it. But I am going into cosmetics for the Black woman because her needs are what I know and understand the best." An April 1971 issue of Essence included a letter from a reader who did not approve of Sims' white beauty secrets. And it reads, "Dear editor, I am writing in reference to Naomi Sims' article in your January issue. I am a little confused about who this article was directed to. Naomi shared some of her famous fashion secrets with us. The greasy face look, the potato peels on the eyelids. Was this article for America's bourgeois women? It certainly was not directed to us grassroots sisters. We would prefer the natural look. We believe that we are much more appealing to our black men without Miss Sims' white beauty secrets." Also, it could be that Sims decided she didn't want to compete with other makeup brands or collections intended for black women at the time, such as Fashion Fair Cosmetics. Whatever the reason, Sims never abandoned the idea for makeup products. Sims also owned beauty salons which used, sold, and promoted her products. Her multi-million-dollar empire extended beyond the beauty products. She was highly concerned with health and personal advancement, rightfully so because it aligned with her career and personal life. Sims was diagnosed with the mental illness bipolar. Despite what could be considered a handicap, Sims authored several books on modeling, health, and beauty, including All About Health and Beauty for the Black Woman, How to Be a Top Model, and All About Success for the Black Woman, as well as an advice column for teenage girls in Right On magazine. Over the years, Sims experienced several trials, such as competition from larger white-owned beauty organizations targeting black customers, financial setbacks, and issues for control of her companies. She also had been diagnosed with breast cancer. In 2005, Oprah Winfrey honored Sims along with 24 other black women pioneers at her Legends Ball. On August 1st, 2009, in Newark, New Jersey, Naomi Sims would succumb to breast cancer. She was 61 years old. Supermodel Naomi Campbell stated in Sims' tribute for Essence, "Naomi Sims was an incredible, beautiful, and strong woman. She broke through the glass ceilings to lead the way for those models and business women of color who followed in her footsteps, with many firsts accomplished in her career as the first black model on the covers of New York Times, Fashion of the Times, Supplement, and Life magazine. Naomi was an inspiration to me. She had great style, beauty, grace, and an air of mystery. Her elegance will not be forgotten." Two images of Miss Sims, one from the 1967 Time Fashion magazine cover and the other from a 1969 issue of Life, are in the current Metropolitan Museum of Art exhibition, The Model as Muse. This is a woman to be inspired by. She broke many barriers and embodied what it means to have beauty and brains. Would you consider Naomi Sims the first black supermodel? Do you feel we should hear more of her story through a biopic? How do you feel about the model turned entrepreneur? Comment below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content.